I flew 800 miles to surprise my mom for her birthday with handmade gifts and her favorite cake. She opened the door, looked me up and down, and said, "You should have called first. We have plans with real family tonight." I ate alone in a motel room while my brother posted photos of them at a steakhouse. The next morning, I found my gift bag in the trash with a note, "This isn't your place anymore." 6 weeks later, I sent her a wedding invitation. She replied with one sentence: "Don't embarrass yourself again." I'm 32, my name's Kayla, and I live alone in Colorado Springs. I work for a nonprofit that helps people find low-income housing. It's not glamorous and it doesn't pay much, but I like what I do. I've always been the quiet one in the family, the helper, the one who showed up and didn't make trouble. That wasn't enough, I guess. My mom still lives in Des Moines, Iowa. My brother Kevin stayed close to her. He has a wife named Elise and 2 kids. I don't see them much. I live too far away, and honestly, I think I stopped getting invited to stuff around the time I stopped bending over backwards for them. But this year, for Mom's birthday, I wanted to do something special. I wasn't dating anyone, didn't have any big plans, and thought maybe I could make the effort again. Maybe it'd mean something. I spent weeks planning this. I made her a scrapbook by hand, real scissors, real glue, no digital printouts. Just old photos I found in my closet, stories about each one written in the margins. There were pictures of us when I was little, her teaching me how to bake, us sitting on the back porch with lemonade. I added pressed flowers from a trail she used to love in Pike National Forest. I even wrote a poem, which sounds cheesy, but it came from the heart. I also made her favorite cake, German chocolate with extra coconut frosting. I used dry ice to pack it and wrapped everything tight in a cooler. TSA gave me a hard time at security, but I got through. I landed on March 11th, her 64th birthday. Didn't tell anyone. I wanted it to be a surprise. That's the part that hurts the most, I think. I came with love. I came thinking it would be a good thing. I Ubered straight from the airport to her house. She still lives in the same 2-story brick home she raised us in. It looked the same. Wind chimes on the porch, that dumb garden gnome she refuses to throw away. I stood there holding a gift bag, a cake, and my suitcase. When she opened the door, she didn't even smile. She looked me up and down like I was a salesman. Her eyes went to the cake box, then the gift bag, then back to my face. "You should have called," she said. "We have plans with real family tonight." It hit me like a punch. I laughed a little, like maybe she was joking. She wasn't. "I am family," I said, trying to stay calm. She looked past me like she was checking to see if someone else was in the driveway. "You're not really part of all this anymore, are you?" she said. Just like that. No emotion. No, "I missed you." No hug. I asked if I could come in. She said no, they were running late. Steakhouse dinner. Kevin made reservations. "You understand," she said. I didn't understand. I stood there holding that stupid cake like an idiot while she stepped outside, locked the front door behind her, and walked to her car. I barely got out, "Happy birthday, Mom," before she drove off. I went to a Super 8, checked in for one night. Ate the damn cake alone. It was dry, even though I packed it perfectly. I watched my brother's Instagram story while I sat on the motel bed, knees pulled up under my chin like a child. They were at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, smiling. Kevin, Elise, the kids. Mom was wearing her pearl necklace. Elise captioned it, "Family is everything, red heart." The next morning, I drove back to her house. I didn't knock. Just left the gift bag on the porch. I wanted her to at least have the scrapbook. Maybe she'd come to her senses. I sat in the car for a few minutes, just staring at the front door. Then I saw it open. She came out in her robe, looked around, picked up the bag, took out the scrapbook, flipped it open to one page. I saw her read one line I wrote, "You used to be my best friend." She shut it, didn't even pause. She walked over to the trash can by the garage, tossed the whole thing in. Not even gently. Like it was garbage. She stuck a note on it. I waited until she went inside. Walked over, lifted the lid. The note said, "This isn't your place anymore." No love, Mom. No nothing. I got on a plane that afternoon and didn't speak to her after that. 6 weeks later, I did something I can't decide if I regret or not. I mailed her a wedding invitation. I am not getting married. There is no fiancé. But I designed it by hand, same floral style I used on her scrapbook, soft pink and sage green. I addressed it to her and Kevin's whole family. Included a +1 just to twist the knife. The invite said, "Together with their families, Kayla Grace Harris and Nathaniel Cole Adams invite you to celebrate their wedding on May 15th, 4 p.m. at Evergreen Chapel, Colorado Springs." Evergreen Chapel is real. I toured it once. It's quiet and beautiful and empty on most weekends. I figured she wouldn't come anyway. 2 days later, I got her reply in a plain white envelope. No return address. Just one typed sentence on a slip of paper. "Don't embarrass yourself again." No RSVP. No note. No name. Just that. That reply sat on my kitchen table for 2 days. I didn't open it right away. I thought maybe it'd be an apology. Or even just a polite decline. Something human. But no. Just that one line. "Don't embarrass yourself again." Like I was a stray dog that wandered into the wrong yard. I wanted to throw it out. But I didn't. I pinned it on the fridge, right next to a postcard from a friend in New Mexico and a bill I kept forgetting to pay. Every time I walked by it, I felt this slow burn building inside me, like something was waking up in me. Something I didn't even know was there. It wasn't just the rejection. It was the way she made me feel like a ghost. Like I had no value. Like I wasn't worth a warm hello or a thank you. That scrapbook took me weeks. The poem I wrote for her came from a real place. That cake? I almost missed my flight trying to get it through security. And she threw it in the trash like leftovers. So I started planning. Not petty revenge. Not something loud or messy. I didn't want to scream at her or ruin her reputation. No. I wanted her to feel what I felt. Invisible. Forgotten. Unwelcome. I called Evergreen Chapel and booked the space for that date. It was only $250 for a 3-hour window. I used my savings. Then I posted the wedding announcement on Facebook. Most of my extended family still had me friend. A few people I hadn't talked to in years commented, "Congrats. So happy for you." Even an old coworker messaged me asking how we met. I told her it was a long story. That he was quiet. Kind. That he wasn't on social media much. Then I watched. My mom like Kevin's post about his kid winning a soccer game. I watched Elise post a selfie of her and Mom at the botanical gardens. I watched her scroll past mine like I didn't exist. But she saw it. I know she did. Someone told her. Maybe Kevin. Maybe Elise. A week later, I got a call. It was my Aunt Rhonda. My mom's younger sister. We hadn't spoken in almost 5 years. "Kayla," she said, "your mom told me about the wedding." I waited. "She thinks it's a setup," Rhonda said. "She says there's no Nathaniel. Says you're just doing this for attention." I didn't deny it. I just asked, "Is she coming?" Rhonda was quiet. She said she won't support delusions. That's what she called it. I laughed. Not out of joy, more like disbelief. Rhonda sighed. "I think she's trying to protect herself." "No," I said. "She's trying to erase me." Rhonda didn't argue. We hung up not long after that. I sat there staring at my wedding dress. I'd bought it from Goodwill. Lace sleeves, old-fashioned, but pretty. Still had the tag. $65. I hung it by my bedroom window and looked at it every morning for 2 weeks. Then I decided I was going to show up. I was going to walk down that aisle alone. There wouldn't be guests. No groom. No vows. Just me, the dress, and the silence my mom left me in. But then something happened. 3 days before May 15th, I got another envelope. No return address. Inside was a photo. It was my scrapbook. Pulled from the trash, pages bent and dirty, but still intact. A red circle was drawn around one line I wrote in pen. You taught me to fight for the people I love. I just didn't know I'd be fighting you. Under it, someone had written in blue ink, then stop fighting. You lost. The handwriting wasn't Mom's. Hers is neat and rigid, always in cursive. This was slanted, rushed. It looked familiar, though. I pulled out an old birthday card from Kevin, one from years ago when we still talked. Same blue ink. Same slant. It was him. He went into the trash to dig out the scrapbook. He read it. He circled that line. And he sent it to me. With that message. I didn't know what pissed me off more, the fact that my own brother was part of this, or that he thought I'd give up because he told me to. I sat at my kitchen table for hours, just staring at that picture. The scrapbook was ruined, the poem smeared, but that one sentence still bled through. You taught me to fight for the people I love. I just didn't know I'd be fighting you. I thought about canceling everything, calling the chapel and telling them to keep the deposit, selling the dress, blocking them all. But then I thought no. If I cancel, they win. If I stay quiet, I disappear for good. So I made a change. Instead of a fake wedding, I turned it into a vow ceremony. For myself. I printed new invitations. This time I sent them only to people who saw me. Real friends. My boss at the nonprofit. My neighbor who always shovels my walk without asking. My old high school English teacher who still sends me Christmas cards. I posted an update on Facebook, change of plans. Still May 15th, still Evergreen Chapel. But no groom, no lies. Just me, vowing never to let rejection turn me invisible again. Some people laughed. A few sent eye-roll emojis. But a dozen people RSVP'd yes. And then something else happened. I got a message from Kevin's wife, Elise. It was short. You're not the only one she's erased. I'll be there. At first I thought it was a joke. But 2 hours later, another message came, this time from a name I didn't expect. Monica T. She was my mom's best friend back when I was a kid. They'd stopped talking years ago, something about a falling out after church drama. Her message said, saw your post. I'm proud of you. Your mother forgot who she raised. Don't let her rewrite your story. I read it twice. I hadn't thought about Monica in years. She RSVP'd too. And then, 2 nights before the event, I got a call from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something told me to. It was Kevin. He didn't say hello. Just breathed into the phone for a second like he was weighing his words. Then he said, "You really gonna go through with this?" I didn't answer right away. I waited. "You're making her look bad," he said. "She did that on her own," I said back. He laughed, but it was bitter. "You don't get it. Mom's, she's different now. Not like before." "She wasn't like before when she told me I didn't belong," I said. He was quiet again. Then he said, "If you do this, she'll never forgive you." And I said, "She already threw me away. I've got nothing left to lose." Before he hung up, he said one more thing. "I hope you enjoy your little show. Because after this, you really won't have a family." I didn't cry. I didn't shake. I just whispered, "Then I'll build a new one." The sky was cloudy. Not stormy. Just soft and gray, like it was trying not to interrupt. I got there an hour early. I wore the Goodwill dress. I'd fixed the loose hem, cleaned it up, steamed the sleeves. I didn't add anything fancy. No veil, no jewelry. Just me. Clean, simple, honest. I stood at the front of the chapel and looked at the rows of empty pews. Then slowly, people started arriving. First was Lisa, my boss. She brought flowers. Then my neighbor Dan, the one who always waves when he takes out the trash. He wore a tie. Said he hadn't worn one since his wife's funeral, but figured you deserved some respect. Then came Monica. She hugged me hard and said, "You are not the forgotten one." 10 minutes before 4, Elise walked in. Alone. She looked tired, like she hadn't slept, but she was there. She walked right up to me and said, "I left him." I blinked. What? She held out a small manila envelope. Inside were screenshots, emails, and one voicemail transcript. Kevin had been cheating for months, gaslighting her, telling her she was crazy anytime she questioned him, telling their kids that she was the one tearing the family apart. "I saw your invite," she said, and I realized I didn't have to stay quiet either. She sat in the front row. The look on her face wasn't sad. It was solid, steady. We started the ceremony. There was no officiant. I stood alone at the altar. I spoke clearly, my voice shaking only once. "I came here today because someone told me I lost, that I should stop fighting. But this isn't a fight anymore. This is a promise to myself." I looked at the people in the pews. I will not beg to be seen. I will not shrink to fit into the spaces people leave behind. I will not waste love on people who treat it like trash. I paused. My family is not blood anymore. My family is anyone who chooses me back. There was silence. Then clapping. Real clapping. Warm. Loud. Unforced. Afterward, we had cupcakes in the chapel hall. Laughed. Took photos. It felt strange and right all at once. I didn't hear from Mom. Not that day. Not that week. But 2 months later, I did get something in the mail. A plain envelope. No return address. Inside was the scrapbook. Cleaned. Repaired. Every torn page taped. Every flower pressed again. And a note. I don't know how to say sorry. But I read every word. Maybe I should have fought too. "Mom." That's all it said. No phone call. No visit. Just that. And you know what? That was enough. Not to fix everything. Not to forget what she did. But to close the door. Because for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like I was standing outside it. I was already on the other side, building something better.